race fans, to another broadcast from the Nerd TV crew. This time coming at you from the simulated Michigan International Speedway, this 2.00 mile behemoth here with 4 races left in the schedule. We've got a stacked field tonight this evening, over 20 cars, including some your last week's winner who showed up. He's 1 for 1, and we got a couple new guys like Justin Dilt. I'm out here, but it's looking to be an awesome race here today. Track temperature 115 degrees, air temp only 79. So as we've seen this past month or so, you will see that track temp drop probably 10 to 15 degrees before this race is said and done. iRacing likes to start the track hot, and then it kind of cools off, which is quite opposite, but we got what we got to work with. 6 mile an hour come out of the south end here, and so wind might play a small factor into these cars, though I did some racing in the past couple of days in the next gen here, and this track and this car combination is not the most fun, at least in my perspective, but maybe they got a better setup out there. But to your center left here of your screen is going to be myself, Mr. J Stan, of course. And then over to my right shoulder here is Mr. Pushibi Nick. How's it going out there tonight, man?
It's going pretty good, Jeremy. Ready to get this race in here at Michigan. We know some of these tracks, Michigan, California, stuff like that, they bring out more people. So it's nice to see. I think we got 21 that's made some time right now. We got 23 registered, including yourself. But we won't talk about that one. But yeah, it looks like we got 21 people making times right now. So it should be a good one tonight.
We won't talk about it after we talk about it. It's fine. I just want to be a part of the event, So you will see my name pop up on your screen, your qualifying grid. Completely ignore that. It is not valid. I'm not an in-race broadcaster, at least not yet. My skills are almost there, but maybe, just maybe, one day. Yeah, I got about 23 cars out here. I got 100 laps here tonight. And I did mention there's 4 races left in the schedule. So it's crunch time. And the points, Kenny, are pretty tight as far as the top 2 or 3 goes. Outside of third place, technically right now they have a chance, but it's gonna be tough to pass Chuck, Richie, and Brody here. Is there Richie's only 5 out of Chuck, and then 22 points back is Brody Hanna.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's kind of that top 3, definitely top 2. Brody's gonna have to have something big happen, and the same thing goes with Chuck and Richie. But this could be the track too, Jeremy. I mean, high speed, you catch one angle wrong and you go into that wall hard, and we got a good field tonight, 22 people, so that, or 21 right now, so that's gonna put you down, and so we don't want to see earlier too last week. Nicholas Moreau, he didn't make it there for practice, and he's in here leading the top of the charts. He actually just ran 2/10 faster, Jeremy, at a 38.5, so he's showing some speed early. Might have a little bit of draft help there.
Yeah, typically you see him up there in the top 3, top 4 in practice, just kind of floating around, not running the fastest time. But we've counted on him this season to get every single pole out there. And the 2 races he misses, or at least the one that he missed and then the one he almost missed, I wasn't able to get a qualifying time down. And that's the only 2 qualifying attempts that he's made without a pole, or without. So he's back here. He's running full speed and being 2/10 faster over Chuck Sweeting. As long as he doesn't make a mistake there in qualifying, it's almost guaranteed he's going to get his 8th pole this evening. But I guess we'll have to find that out in about a minute or so.
Yeah, they were close, him and Chuck there, but that last lap there, Nicholas just kind of pulled away on him. But we see Richie, Jeremy. I know this is Michigan, so it depends on how you're going to get your practice. You might have some draft help or not, but he's sitting down there on the charts a little bit lower than we normally see him. So we'll see how this kicks over once the race starts. But we see this at Michigan from time to time, where we have some different speeds here, and draft help or not. So we'll see what kind of runs these guys are making.
Yeah, if you look as teammates, even though they're really spread across there on the standings, Tony Solari and Brody Hanna, they're all within 1/10 of each other, but they're sitting back there in like 9th place. You got Richie, looks like he's around 14th or so, and then Brody Hanna sitting there back in 20th. So it looks like Fury Motorsports has some work to do, which that's kind of concerning, because Chuck's P2 on the board's 3/10 faster than Richie Coy, who needs to get his point lead back after taking that vacation.
Yeah, he definitely does, and he's only 5 back. But hey, we're coming down to it. I mean, we got 4 races left, and they're all going to be different. We got this, like you mentioned, 2-mile behemoth, and then some short track road course and a super speedway. So
Yeah, big variety here to end the season. But qualifying has started. That means it's time to get our faces off your guys' screens and start thanking some people that we like to do every qualifying session here on Nerd TV. First and foremost, fullthrottlesimracing.net, or if you want to go short with that, FTSR.net is the place to go if you're looking for a racetrack or racing league that have the one of the most respectable amount of bet on the track, uh, whether it be the trucks or the cup cars, or if you're looking for a little bit of funness. I think Thursdays are switching over to 1987s here in about 4 to 5 weeks. So if you're looking to try to change up what you're doing out there, join this league. It's full of great drivers. They're going to be really helpful and respectful to you. That's at FTSR.net. Thank you to Mach1 Performance. Every Monday, they sponsor this Cup Series, and for good reason. Also started by the late Johnny Coy Jr., who's produced champions across the SCCA and NASA dirt and pavement oval racing. So if your car is in the area and needs some fabrication work, head over to Mach1 Performance on their Facebook page and see what they offer you. Sim Racing Points, presenting sponsor every Wednesday for the Truck Series at Full Throttle Sim Racing. It's your league points management system that tracks everything your league does. Points, results, team pages, you name it for your league. This website's got you covered, and they have a really good price point to make your league look professional. So head over to simracingpoints.com. Thank you to Martin Sports, home of the sim gloves of all sim racing. We have them in the nerd shop. Of course, you've seen them from time to time on our screens. And they make the most breathable and durable as well too. So if you got a long race, let's say you're doing the 24-hour Le Mans and you're in the car for 6 hours, this is the glove to choose. It's going to get you through the entire race without any sweat on your fingertips. So if you're looking for something like that specifically for an endurance race, no better place to go than martinsports906.com and use that promo code NERDTV. It's going to save you a whopping 25% off. iRacing iFlag. Head over to iRacingIFlag.com if you're looking for something to kind of complete your sim rig. It's a one-of-a-kind product that sits on your desk and produces up to 30 different iRacing commands on a visual form. It's like a little 64 LED system that just sits on the desk, doesn't take up much space at all. It gives you everything that iRacing throws at you in a lit up form. So iRacingIFlag.com, super nerd at checkout this time, 15% off. Thank you to the Butt Kicker for being the audio enhancement partner for the Nerditudes. If you're looking to perform at your peak performance and want to get all the bumps and feels from the racetrack into your seat, this is the place to go, especially with the Gamer 2 unit. So that's thebuttkicker.com. Use NerdTV at checkout for 20% off. Thank you to Moonlight Speed over at moonlightspeed.us. You can head over there. You can join their Twitter, and you can also join their Discord. The Discord is where they have everything that you're going to need to look up, all the updates to the setups, see what the guys are working on all the time, and they love to hear the feedback and make it better and better. So if you're looking to get some wins in your win column, on the asphalt oval side, you're going to head over to moonlightspeed.us and get registered today. Houseofspeed.us is going to be the same type of gig, but on dirt. So anything dirt oval related. If you need a setup and need some wins, any of the dirt oval cars, the houseofspeed.us has you covered. Both Moonlight and House of Speed have great pricing too. Professional setups from the ground up, and they produce wins no matter what. Even if you're a mediocre driver like myself, it definitely puts you in that next level for some much needed wins. Once again, houseofspeed.us for the dirt. And then lastly, Nerd Focus. The Think Drink. The nerds turn to the nerds when they need their energy, and this is where we get our product from. And it is a great flavor for 2 flavors. It's not complicated. It's just green for sugar, blue for sugar-free. Either way you want it, they got you. And if you're going to use a promo code and you want to save 10% off, then you make sure to use Super Nerd at checkout, and we'll make sure to get that 10% off. And about 20 seconds left before we can visually give you the qualifying results. But Kenny, Nicholas Moreau, 3.5 tenths faster, and it's all but locked up here in the next 5 seconds. That's going to put him 8 poles in 10 races.
I mean, he smoked his practice lap, so anything that I had about that being a draft lap just went out the window.
Yeah, it's everybody else is kind of 0.8, 0.8, 0.9, 0.9, boom, and Nicholas Moreau at a 0.453, just absolutely crushed him in qualifying gear, and he's got a really fast practice setup, and we know he's one of the better drivers in the league on average, as far as the long run goes too. So with this speed showing, this might be the Nicholas Moreau show here. He's got to make sure to keep his card clean. That's the only thing. We've seen some consistency issues from Nicholas this season. So as long as he keeps that car underneath him for 100 laps of Michigan, I think he has a pretty good chance in front of him.
I think so, Jeremy. I think he's got a very good chance. What we've seen so far this season, and that qualifying lap right there is just that car's bad fast tonight.
Absolutely. So since the grid's official here, we're going to go over down the starting lineup for tonight's race. Nicholas Moreau, of course, going to take your pole for the 8th time this season. Chuck Sweeting going to be starting in P2. Matthew Vachon, P3. 4th place to his outside is Brian Dublé. 5th place, Jonathan Varanauskas. In 6th place, Gil Gauck, making his second start from knee surgery. Let's see if he can make the entire race today. And starting 6th, that's a good place. It looks like he's feeling pretty good. 7th place, Chad Lang. 8th place to his outside is going to be Brody Hanna. 9th place, Martin Guerrero. And to round out tonight's top 10 for the grid, Alex Murphy.
Rolling off in 11th is going to be Wayne Grossi. 12th is Sherwood Wilford. 13th is going to be Joshua Johnson. 14th is teammate Ryan Hedrick. 15th is going to be Richie Coy. 16th, Kyle Milliken. 17th is Lane Allen. 18th is Justin Diltz. 19th is Tony Solari. 20th is going to be Josh Mayu. 21st, Steve Loomis. And then the next 4 that not take a qualifying lap we're going to skip is not going to be you, Jeremy. It's going to be James Wallace. And then possibly Brandon Elder in that 23rd starting spot. And maybe Brian Bliss in the 24th. We'll see if those guys roll off.
Brian Bliss is on track. James Wallace is on track. Brandon Elder not going to make a time. And, of course, as you said, myself will also not be on the track. Maybe one day I'll be good enough to commentate while driving. Who knows? But needless to say, we're going to have these 23 cars roll off here as they head down toward the exit of pit road for their one little pace lap here before they're all gridded up and set up for the 100 laps here. 4 races left, and we got some people who are really looking to make up some ground. Brody Hanna, as I mentioned, 22 points out. He's not having the best start here in P8, but you never know. This is a longer race, and this is a wide track, even though the inside line it's 50-50. So I'm really curious to know how these cars drive here, Kenny, in the open setup world, because in the fixed setups, they are not fun.
No, I would have to agree with you on that, and hopefully with this open setup, it's going to be a little bit better racing for these guys. Another thing, too, Jeremy, is just Moreau Motorsports is just these qualifying efforts and even the season. I mean, they're sitting there having great qualifying runs. He's got his teammate right behind him there, Matthew, starting in 3rd place. So Moreau Motorsports is looking to dominate this one if they can as well.
Yeah, they're doing. They're starting pretty good right now. The 2 cars up here with Vachon and Moreau, and let's see what they have to offer as these guys head off through turn number 4. Pace car is down. Just got to wait for the green flag to fly, and these guys are underway for 100 laps at Michigan. Green flag is officially out, and you see Nicholas Moreau with a pretty decent start there over Chuck Sweeting as he clearly beats them to the line, and they're side by side all the way back through.
Yeah, great jump there by Nicholas. Gonna go ahead and clear Chuck as they're heading down the turn 1 and 2. Still too wide there on back beside everybody, side by side. Kind of got a little bit of movement. Chuck's got a little wobble there as he's coming off a 2, but he's gonna go ahead and collect it up, fall back in line right there behind Nicholas Moreau. But so far so good, heading into 3.
Looks like Vachon's put some good strength here on the bottom. Let's see what groove pops in. Groove number 2. Not against that yellow line, but the one right above it, virtue of the seams that you can clearly see on the track. That's going to be your preferred lane for most of these guys to start, and then that third groove, and sometimes you can even touch your wheels up there on the fourth groove for some good speed off corner exit, especially corner number 2. That's where you're going to see it like 37. Brian Dublé already way up into the groove of turn or 1 and 2 and groove number 4. Gets a great launch there off the corner. So I thought I was going to kick in a little bit later in this run, but Brian Dublé already is kind of showing me a line up there.
Yeah, not even 2 laps in, he's already going up there testing the waters, and we saw it yesterday in the race at Michigan. People were, they were trying to make passes on the bottom, and they were able to pull it off. But I mean, you lost so much speed, and if the car on the outside just had that momentum running, it was a dog race down the front or back stretch, and most of the time the guy on the outside is going to prevail. But we won't see too much passing, I believe, on this inside tonight. But we'll see how everything goes. But as you mentioned, everyone's kind of spread out so far, using all 3 grooves.
Yeah, you really got to manage your tire wear here because you're going so fast, right? So you just scrub off so much speed if you overdrive the corner. Entrance in that bottom, even though it's not technically a progressive bank track, that bottom groove is about a degree or so less steeper than everything else above it. So all that means is there's less assistance to get the car to turn. It's more mechanical grip. It's more tire wear. And you can do it for a few laps, and you can use it maybe to kind of shoot past someone who's running up in the third groove. You can use it as like a little drive-by, so to speak, a little slide job. But there's so much momentum that comes off groove 2 and 3 on this track. It's really hard to maintain that speed on these long straightaways. Usually the draft, you just keep eating right back up. So it's usually a lose-lose for the most part, but we might see a few pass attempts there on that bottom groove.
Yeah, and there's a battle going on back here just outside the top 5. For the top 10 position, about 6-7 cars here. At one point almost went 3 wide, so great little battle back here in the pack with all these guys trying to find lines and movement, and some using the draft to get up there a little bit further than others. It's kind of settled down a little bit more 2 wide, but for a second there, Jeremy, they were all spread out.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense battle here. Watching a couple of guys, we're seeing Kyle Milliken, who won last week, 1 for 1 in the series. We're seeing him back here. He started pretty far back at Indy as well, so to see him come up here, and I think we're going to see him pass some cars for sure. But with Michigan, he might be just taking it easy. It is pretty easy to pass because there's a lot of space to do so, but it's also easy to scrub those tires off. So if you're going to try to make some passes, maybe let the guys in front of you overdrive their stuff and make a run at it. And it looks like it's kind of calmed down here to see the 57. Joshua Johnson making a pass here. Looks like over the 50 of Martin Guerrero. See if he can stick lane 2. He just gets a little tight there on corner exit. It's going to allow that 50 to make a great launch off the exit of the corner. Almost clears the 57, but then Mr. Joshua Johnson gets that side draft, and they're now side by side again into 3.
Yeah, just as you mentioned, they were kind of settling in single file. Everyone started shuffling around, jumping out. We did see a pass for second place there. Matthew went ahead and got around Chuck, but Chuck's not letting him get too far away from him. They're on back, until about Brody Hanna, even Gil Gok there. They're all about single file, but Gil's looking on the inside of Brody here, trying to see what he can make happen, and Brody's going to shut the door on him as he hits down that second groove there. They're going to come off together, but they are starting to space out again, Jeremy, in single file. We do have a couple battles here or there. Ooh, on the inside there, coming off a 2. That was a close call. He's going to fall back in line there, but definitely going to lose a lot of spots.
Kyle Milliken heavy loose off the corner of turn number 2 in that Ford Must Charger. I forget what he called it last week there when we talked to him, but he lost a couple spots there, just getting heavy loose. Good car control and nice save for that number 10 machine as he's now trying to hold off the 14 at this point. I did notice as well, this pack here, this 4-car pack, the 57, got passed by the 50, and now the 33 opened the door, but Richie Coy, Kenny, is struggling to get around the 57 here in the 50, so it's really holding him up, and this is where Richie needs to kind of, perform at his best here to get up to the front.
Yeah, we must have been on the same brainwave there, because I was looking at Richie too, thinking the same thing. He's sitting back. He was in 13th. Looks like he's going to gain 2 spots here as he's trying to clear the 57 after coming off a 4. But yes, he's sitting. Even if he gets by him here, he's going to be sitting just outside the top 10, with Chuck sitting in 3rd place. That's definitely not what Richie wants right now. So plenty of time left. I mean, we're only on lap 9 out of 100, so we're not even 10% of the race done yet. So there's plenty of time to make his way up here. But so far, early on, Richie Coy is not where he wants to be.
3 wide here, exiting turn number 2, and it looks like they avoid one car in the far back, goes way below the white line there. It looks like that's the 18 of Brian Bliss to make that safely through the corner exit. I saw him push up, Ken. I thought maybe there was going to be some heavy contact, but the 18 thought wisely, got himself almost loose intentionally just to avoid those guys above. Of course, it costed him some ground on the track. Now he is about 5 car lengths back from the pack right in front of him, but there's racing all over the place. I thought that'd be a lot more single file, but these guys, even back here in 20th, they're 2x2 trying to figure things out.
Yeah, back there in the back of the pack, trying to go 3 wide. Up here in the front of the pack, they're trying to go 3 wide, battling for about 8th position here. Sherwood was looking on the inside, but decided to tuck in and go 2 wide there, but he's still on the inside trying to make a pass on a couple of these guys. He's getting around Gill. He's trying to put Jonathan behind him in his rear view. He might be able to clear him once they come off forward. You see the 37 there, almost up in the wall. Brian Dubois had the lift up heavy, and that's going to give the 33 of Sherwood Wilford exactly what he wanted. That's going to put him right up there into that 6th position.
The 27 and 37 are exploring that really high groove there. It worked pretty good for Brian Dubois up until that point. Just got almost into the marbles there where the grip isn't so strong. And really had to check up. And turn number 4, too. You have to hit the exit on the high lane a lot more specifically. Turn 2, you get a great launch regardless, but turn 4, since it's a sweeping exit, you have to really maximize your efforts up top for it to work. We're going to see him try it once more. This time, it looks like he does a better job at it. The 27 has to get a little run up there by Chadling in the 4 Tide Machine. We see the 50 Mark Guerrero almost looked like he wanted to go 3 wide there, but decided not to. Still 2x2 for the top 10.
Yeah, just going for that 10th spot there, side by side. Everyone in front of them single filed out. Matthews gained a little bit on Chuck and pulled away from him just by a couple of tenths. They're all still chasing Nicholas Moreau there, who's still leading the way. But yeah, top 10 looks like they're all single filed. Even further back, you got Lane Allen here looking on the inside. And he's trying to make a pass there and put one of them down. I think that's the 57 that he's trying to go around. So the 57, Jeremy, of Joshua Johnson, he's been losing some spots here as I've a couple laps now. He's lost about 1 or 2 spots a lap, so he's falling back, and that's not what he wants to see. But looks like everyone's kind of single filing out right now.
Well, it's one of those many cars that were running 2 wide half this race, and it doesn't take much for these tires to start feeling, the abuse that you provided. If you're on the bottom here and you have to really check up because you're tight, that just means you're just losing tire wear all day, overheating the things. You have to let the tires cool off, even for a few laps before you even think about making a run up through the field once more. It looks like he's got a speed back here, at least in this set of cars. You see the 4, Chadling get a little looser in 3. It's still loose in 4. It's going to cause a little 3 wide action here down the front stretch with the 14 and the 50 as they head off to the line here. But it's going to cost Chadling a few spots. They're getting loose in front of these guys. Good heads up by everybody to not get the number 4 involved in a wreck.
Yeah, that's a close call there. And it's just crazy how this track, same thing with California, but how far everyone gets spread out. I mean, we got some guys right now coming off a 2 right now. The 18 there, Brian Bliss, as we just mentioned, he had to tuck it down. That was a close call as he was coming off a 2. But what I was getting to is as they're coming off a 2, the leaders are heading in the 3, Jeremy. So it's just crazy how much this racing kind of spaces everyone out, these style tracks.
Yeah, I took a look too there, and Kyle Milliken in the 10 has fallen back significantly. Dead last here in the pack that's currently running, and that car just looks like he's really bad tight. I don't know if he's got much time in that setup, but right now the long run's not really playing for last week's winner. Let's see if maybe he can make some adjustments here on the only green flag pit stop, or at least one of 2 anyways. You know me and the strategy, so I'm just going to leave that up. But you see the 18, Brian Bliss, right in front of him, going to the white line once more. This time he's going to try to make a pass on that 67. James Wallace, which we saw him, doing pretty well here this past month or so, but it's weird to see the 67 back here fighting for outside of top 20 right now.
Yeah, it looks like the whole team there, Jeremy, because you see the 67 of James Wallace, the 57 Joshua Johnson. They kind of been losing some spots here. I know they had some side-by-side racing, but there might be a little setup change they're going to be making when they come down these pit stops as well, because that's we haven't been seeing them this far back as of late. They've been up towards the top. Ooh, see Brian Bliss again coming off a 2. That car is a handful, and it looks like Chad Lane's also going to be giving up some spots, so he would have had a little mishap off a 2. So these cars are already giving everyone some fits, Jeremy. And we're coming to lap 17 right now.
Yeah, the fastest running car there in Boomerang Motorsports is that, it looks like the 14 Lane Allen, running just inside the top 10 there in 9th place. Outside of that, everybody's just, they're still trying to find what they can out there. So maybe they need to get up on the 14's pit box there and ask them what kind of adjustments do I need to make. It looks like your car is a little bit faster, but I also haven't seen the 14 run side by side hardly at all. So that could play a potential into why he's running a little better than his teammates so far.
Yeah, and kind of looking back up to the front of the lead here, I wanted to see we were looking at with Nicholas and his teammate there, Matthew, was gaining on him a little bit here on this last lap. He's running one groove higher than Nicholas. Nicholas is sitting there kind of running that second groove, and Matthew's run the third. But ever since he kind of pulled on Chuck, he's slow and steady. He's coming closer to his teammate Nicholas here. So we might have a battle here for teammates. But you're going to see Brody Hanna going to the inside of Chuck Sweeting here as we're going into 1 and 2, and he's going to just squeeze right in front of him there. Chuck, go ahead and let him by. Nice clear pass. So that's going to put Brody Hanna in that third spot.
Yeah, we've been paying so much attention on the mid-pack here that we forgot that there's still good battles here for first and second, now third and fourth, as they're trying to figure things out. Looks like Brody Hanna did make that clean pass, and Brody's got a long-run car. If you're doing better than Chuck Sweeting on a long run, you've got something strong for this race. And saw Nicholas with some awesome lap times, but his teammate there in second place, now just over 0.3 of a second away from his teammate Matthew Vachon, has a good chance to take this race lead almost 20 laps in.
Don't look now. It's only been about 7 or 8 laps, Jeremy, and Richie Coy running in 7th spot. He's slow and steady, picked these guys off, gained 5 spots since we looked at him last time. He's trying to make his way up into the top 5. He's got Gil Gawk next, and he's closing in on him, so he's trying to get up there with his teammates. So that might be another one that has a good long run, and with Brody and them being teammates. But that's nice to see Richie back up there. But we still got a nice little tight battle here, Jeremy, for the just outside the top 10. Tony Soares trying to make a pass here on the 37 of Brian Dublé.
Yeah, currently running in 12th, looking to take over 11th here as they cross the line to enter lap number 20. And right now, Tony Soares scored 11th, 1 spot outside the top 10. He's still side by side with that 10th place car, Brian Dublé, who's been stuck to that middle to upper groove this entire race. It seems to be working pretty well for that team right now, but looks like the 11 just has a little more speed on the bottom at the moment.
And just notice that Brian Bliss had an accident here. Looks like in 3 and 4 a couple laps ago, and that's going to put him out, and he's going to head disconnected. So he's going to be the first driver 1 lap out. That'll put him in 23rd start position. It sounds like you might have saw something there, Jeremy.
27, Jonathan Varanauskas heavy loose there in the middle of 3 and 4. It's going to wind up costing him 4 to 5 positions before he got back to turn number 1 just now. So Varanauskas drops 14th and 19th just by a little wiggle. That really shows you how much speed you carry on these straightaways and how long the straightaways are.
Jeremy, Boomerang Motorsports here. I mean, I know we mentioned a couple of times now, but now you got the 47, 57, 67. I wonder if this is a strategy play that's going on, or if there's just, in the long run, if these cars, the setup that they have going for it just is not it. We still see the 37 of Brian Dublé. He's running the 11th spot right now, but the other 3 teammates, they're sitting there outside the top 15. That's definitely not where they want it. So we'll have to see where their strategy, if it's a strategy to kind of lay back until the end of the race, or maybe these cars just don't have the run as of late.
Yeah, at the moment, I think there's just a little bit of miss on that setup, but it's hard to tell. Sometimes these guys kind of impress me, but right now, not really sitting pretty. They're over 10 seconds back, Kenny, of your race leader, being the Guerrero Motorsports drivers, Nicholas and Matthew. So they got a lot of work to do if they want to make that ground up. And based on how I'm seeing these cars go around this track right now, it's not in their favor at the moment.
No, definitely not in the favor. And we got a battle right here between 2 other teammates. Alex Murphy and Martin Guerrero, they're battling for 13th spot as Alex was able to take it by. But you're going to see the 50 here battling back on the outside. But I don't know I think Alex Murphy's going to have this momentum as they're coming off a 2 where he's going to be able to get him down the backstretch. So we'll have to see where they pan out. But they're still side by side for this 13th spot.
Clearly, you can tell their teammates by the logo, by the paint job, by everything other than a color and a number swap. You see the 31 trying to make that pass, and it looks like he's going to be able to stick the landing there. 50 gets backed up a little bit. It looks like he got a little tight in the middle of 3 and 4 and had to lift a lot more than his teammate. And that's going to bring that 91 there of Justin Dilt's first time here in the league. He's going to make that pass on Guerrero. And then you see the 17 there, as well as Steve Loomis sticking that Chevrolet nose underneath the 50, trying to make that pass here now for right inside the top 15.
And that's not what you want to do when you're racing with your teammate there. You don't want to have it to where you guys are battling it out, and next thing you know, you're getting passed by 2 other drivers and losing some spots. So definitely not what you want to see. And during all that commotion, Jeremy, Wayne Allen was able to get by Richie Coy there as they were in turn 4 coming off, and that's going to put Wayne Allen in 6th spot and Richie back in the 7th. I'm not sure if Richie's car is just not there on this late run, but Wayne Allen was able to run him down and gain about half a second there on that lap. So Richie's car is not where he wants it to be right now.
Yeah, he had that miss, the bad luck there on the qualifying effort. And when you start that far back, sometimes it's tough. You know, he started 7th, but then he dropped back. Or actually, no, he started 15th. I'm sorry. So right now he's currently 7th. He started 15th. So we got to pass this many cars here at this track. You fall back quick, trying to get through lap traffic. We saw him stuck behind the 33 and the 57 and the 50 about 10, 15 laps ago. Really had a tough time getting around these guys, and it's really backed him up. And he made a great effort. He came back through the field up through 5th or 6th, and then now the tire wear is there. And I'm watching his lap times, Kenny. He's just every lap, even with the car in front, or if he has clean air on his nose, it's just not a consistent lap. So he's really struggling out there. I see a lot of wiggle there this time off of turn number 2. So he's one of those guys that might take that earlier pit stop. We usually see him do it, right at halfway or, whatever the case is, a little bit later. But this time we might see that 19 try to make up some ground to kind of compensate for that passing through the field that he had to do earlier.
Yeah, it needs to follow Wayne Allen there and see what line he's running, because Wayne's still got some good tire wear, and he started actually a couple spots further back in 17th, and he's moved up into the top 5 now as he got around Sherwood. So he's the biggest mover of the night, I believe, with 12 spots. You're going to have, I don't know, you're going to have a little bit, well, no, you're going to have 12 spots. I think that's going to be the biggest one. The next one that we're looking at, Josh Moreau, he's gained 11 spots as well. So those are your 2 biggest movers. But Wayne Allen, Jeremy, I mean, that's quite a showing, starting 17th at this track and move up to the 5th, about 6 seconds behind your leader there, Nicholas Moreau, who's still leading the way over his teammate, Matthew.
Don't get mixed up. Nicholas does not have a brother out here. That'd be Josh Mayu in that 0-2. Yeah, making some strong moves, 11 spots up. So the field's kind of flip-flopped in a way. You've seen some guys that started way in the back now, running toward the middle upper path. And our first caution is out on lap number 28 of 100, and it looks like we have the number 10 slow in turn 3. Nope, but trying to figure out where that wreck happened. I did not see it on my initial cameras. 31 in turn number 4, got heavy loose, came back up the track. And, clipped the 17 and the 67. 3-car wreck is going to bring out your first caution this evening.
He was trying to say that he was battling all over the place. And, he might have been, that was so close there. Yeah, 67 and just had nowhere to go. But if he would have kept it down the bottom, Jeremy, I think they would have all got by no problem there. But he just tried to save it one last time and sent it right back up in the traffic.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate. We saw tires break. This next gen car, and the rear axles are held by toothpicks. The 31 clipped the 17's left rear, that broke it, and then the 31's wheel broke virtually the 67, I think, grazing it or by the wall slap, either one. Gonna cause a lot of damage and a lot of repairs for these 2 virtual crews to get back going. But that does, the first caution. This is what the guys like Richie Coy needed. This is what Wayne Allen needed. Obviously, they have speed to gain all those spots they did. But now they get, on the same playing field, right inside the top 5 area. So now they're going to have to kind of showcase what they have for that Moreau Motorsports team of Nicholas and Matthew.
Yeah, they're going to have to see if they can maybe get on and off pit road a little bit faster, too, than these guys and split them up a little bit and see if at least 1 or 2 can get ahead of Nicholas and make him fight his way back up, maybe burn those tires a little bit. But I'm sure a bunch of drivers here are loving this caution as everyone's coming down pit road.
Yeah, not a single soul is going to stay out, because 28 laps at Michigan, you do not want to be sitting duck, because you'll fall back in a hurry. As everyone gets down to their pit stalls, make sure everyone hits their stop right on the money. You have the spotter, 3, 2, 1 countdown. You see your only crew with the tires on the wall. It's really hard to miss, and these brakes stop on a dime. So see if they can get through nice and clean. See if there's any
Matthew.
huge changes.
He's going to lose a bunch of spots here. Matthew came in second. He overshot his pits, backed it up, was still too close to the wall, had to come back forward, and then put it back in reverse. All these cars are going by him, Jeremy. He's just now getting his left side tires up as everyone on the field is going by him.
I was just talking about how easy it is to do it, but I guess if you park right next to the wall, you can't get the jack up, and you can't be over your line. So a double whammy there for a 26, and that's going to leave the 15 all by his lonesome. That 26 is probably going to drop all the way, Kenny, to about, what, 19th or 20th here?
Close. I see Chad Lang behind him. They came off pit road close to each other, and I think that's it as far as who we have on the lead lap. Because we got Steve Loomis. He's down in pit road after making that contact in the accident, and Steve Wallace as well. So, yeah, I think that's going to – or James Wallace, my apologies. I think that's going to put him, 19th place or 18th, somewhere around there.
And it looks like the 14 is going to gain 2 spots, one from that 26, and then also another one from the 23 of Brody Hanna. So Lane Allen picking up 2 spots, going to move from 17th starting spot to 3rd on this restart. Excellent stop there. And then we see Richie Coy sitting back there. I think he's in 7th maybe, so it looks like he lost a spot overall. 2 spots. It looks like nope. It scored. iRacing changed it up on me twice in a second. So 7th place now for Richie Coy. It's going to drop him back 1 spot, plus the one he gained really from the 26. So it's kind of like a 2-car loss there. So did not hit the stop that he truly wanted.
No, did not. And yes, 26 put him back in 18th spot, coming in second. And just that little mishap, Jeremy, can be all the difference. And you know, we saw Wayne Allen and Richie Coy come back through the field starting in 17th and 15th. Now it's going to be Matthew's time, and that's going to be fun to watch, though. We know he has the speed, and he'll be making his way back up through there, so we'll have to see how much wear he gets on his tires. But, hey, Wayne Allen, he's in a good spot right behind Nicholas Moreau. He's got the car to do it, so let's see if he can battle him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the one to watch on this restart. Right before we go to green flag, though, I'd love to give a quick shout-out to Martin Sports at martinsports906.com. Once again, martinsports906.com. If you're looking for the premier gloves and all of sim racing, don't put any other gloves on your hand. This is the shop to go. And also, you get the best gloves with the best discount on the internet as an average price point, 25% off when you super nerd at checkout. Third time, that's martinsports906.com. Pace car is down, ready to go. Green flag racing here. Let's see if this 15 of Nicholas Moreau can get a great restart like he did over Chuck Sweeting on the initial start. Green flag is out, and he gets about a car length on that 75 before they even get to the line. So great start by the 15. The 14 as well gets a good start. He's going to be slightly leading the 23 into turn number 1. And everybody else still double file going through 1 and 2.
The 75 with Chuck and the 14 Wayne Allen had great starts, or good starts, I should say. Nicholas Moreau had a great start. I mean, he's already pulled a car length or so on these guys as they're heading down into 3. You're going to see Wayne Allen, actually, he had backed off, had to get Brody Hand on the outside of him, so that's going to put him back in 4th spot there. But everyone's fanning out here as they're heading into 3 and 4, Jeremy, so new tires, everyone's getting racy.
Yeah, absolutely. You can clearly see it here. The 14 makes a great run there on the 23. Looks like the 23 overdrove the exit of 4, had to check up a little bit. That's going to open the door for the 33 of Sherwood Williford as well as they head off into turn number 1. 33 backs it up a little bit, but the 23 just can't get the grip he wants here. 14 clearly moves into 3rd place. Richie Coy really squeezing the door there as well on that 85 Gil Gawk, making his return last week from knee surgery. It looks like he's still holding up very nicely just outside the top 5.
And you see how much it slows him up on that momentum, too, when you have to lift just enough, either coming off a 4 or 2. You can just see everyone just start catching on you or go by you, but he's able to kind of collect it now and get the last lap pretty perfect, and he's right back on the back bumper of Wayne Allen here. It's Brody Hand of the 23 car. Looking possibly on the inside, but I know he's going to just kind of sit back behind him right now, but he's found his groove here. You know, it takes a couple laps with these new tires to kind of get back into that groove, and he's found it with everyone else's. They're all running off the line, not hitting the wall. As I say that, I think one of them might have touched the wall back there. But kind of everyone's thinking that. We might have 3 wide here, though, Jeremy, as we're going into 3.
Yeah, single file until you get to the 3 wide here, and it looks like the 11's gonna beat them to the corner. So he's gonna take advantage of that position, but they're still side by side with the 67 and the number 7 there. Wayne Grossi and James Wallace looks like the 7 on the outside momentum gets the preferred line there, takes the spot over the 67. They single file out. Looks like the next double file there is going to be back there with the 26, Matthew Fashon, going side by side with the newcomer Justin Diltz, as they're still trying to figure it out. This is for 12th place.
Yeah, I was wondering if the 67 there, James Wallace, had any contact with the wreck of Alex Murphy. It was a pretty close call, but it doesn't look like he's having any issues. He's still running up here in 12th spot right now, started 13th, so 1 spot ahead of his qualifying effort. So good to see nothing really affecting him there. But we see Richie Coy, Jeremy, he's all the way down the apron here trying to make a pass on Gil Gawk and get back up here. Sitting about 7th spot right now, wants to get into that 6th spot again. And Gil's just not giving up. Gil's been pretty consistent in that 6th or 7th place all race.
Yeah, it's really good to see that. It almost looked like he came back with knee surgery with more speed here, at least at Michigan. 57. Yeah, Joshua Johnson way down there below the white line, able to bring it back up the track before making the corner entrance here. Might lose a spot here running the very bottom lane. Really has to choke up his interest. Being 3 wide here off of turn number 4 with the 7, the 11, and now the 85. As they're trying to figure it out here for 6th, 7th, and 8th place. But man, this is right in front of James Wallace and Matthew Fashon. There's more contact. The 11 almost spun the 85. It's going to drop back the 85 a few spots here. Almost had a wreck there, and they somehow saved it.
Yeah, that was a close call. And, you know, when Josh Johnson, I went back and looked at replay, I see what happened there. And the 26 of Matthew Vachon, we know that he's got the speed. He's coming up through the field in a hurry. He's in the 11th spot right now. But what happened there was Josh Johnson was just trying to move up, and Matthew was like, no, I'm coming. I got the speed. And he held his line and almost had a little wreck there. But so far, so good. And everyone's trying to keep it clean here, Jeremy. But that 26, he's coming up through the field in a hurry.
He's moving fast. He started about 15th, 16th place, me being 17th, and right now he's scored in 10th place. So a minimum of 5 to 7 spots earned there by the 26. But he's coming up against the cars that are a little bit faster now, and he's got some tire wear trying to pass all these guys. So let's see if he can get those tires cooled off. We saw him almost catch up to the race leader, Nicholas Monroe, before the caution. And then right before he got right to the bumper, his car started to fall off because he gave it a little too much. So let's see if he can keep those tires a little cooler this run and maybe make a late charge of this thing.
Yeah, he's trying to run down Tony Sawyer right now. I think he started 18th on that restart, and now he's up to 9th spot. So gained already half the spots back. But, you know, even with all that, Jeremy, he's still sitting 2.5 seconds behind his teammate there, who's just kind of checked out from the field. Besides your top 3, they're still, you know, Chuck Sweeting, he's keeping it close right now, and then Brody Hanna, who's into that 3rd spot. That's kind of really been your top 3. You throw Matthew in there to add it for a top 4, but right now he's not there. But still, Nicholas Moreau, Jeremy, just dominating this race with that bad fast car.
Yeah, I think he's led every single lap up to this point, even through the caution. And I'm also surprised, and not really surprised, but I'd love to see the 33 there, Sherwood Williford, continuing to make strides each and every week. Consistently now, you find him in the top 5, especially on these long runs. At 33, Mr. Williford hanging in there, doing pretty good. And he's still faster right now than Richie Coy, which, you know, says something all by itself, who's been leading the points race this entire season long up until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So good run there by the 33.
You know, the cars that's in the top 10 right now, Jeremy, the drivers have just made incredible gains. Other than Matthew, who you saw have that mistake on pit road, James Wallace running 10th has gained 13 spots. Tony's gained 11 spots. Wayne 4, 9 for Richie, 7 for Sherwood, and then we got 13 there for Wayne Allen. So, I mean, those are big moves. All those guys started outside the top 10 and have now made their way into the top 10. So that's just showing you how much this has changed just from the qualifying to the race.
Yeah, it's a huge difference in what your qualifying set brings and what your race set brings. And right now, the 26 almost tried to make it 3 wide on the 11 and the number 7. That quickly broke up there, but now the 26 is making a pass on the 11 on the 3rd to 4th groove here. And he's going to dive it down. He cuts off the 11's nose and makes a great run here to try to pass the 14 on the inside down the front stretch. Gets huge help with that draft from the number 7. 26 trying to make some ground or some spaces gained here, trying to work his way through the field.
And that was a big loss there for Wayne Allen. I mean, he lost 3 spots there just on that one lap, mainly in that corner there. You see the 26 slide right up in front of him. He's got the 7. He's looking on the inside of the 7 now. See if he can get it. I think he's going to try to get on the inside of him as they go into turn 3. And yes, he is. He's going to try to make that pass then. If he can pull that one off, that's going to put him in 6th spot. 1 place behind Richie Coy there for that top 5. So he's picking off guys in a hurry on these last couple laps. He's going to go ahead and clear Wayne as they come off of 4. And now he's got a sight set on Richie Coy there for that 5th spot.
Barely clear of the nose there, and it looks like he cooled his tires off for a few laps, said, all right, it's time to go again, and made that charge for 2 laps, putting some impressive lap times down while driving through the field. Now he's got his eyes set on that 19, Mr. Richie Coy, who's just inside the top 5 here. So that's going to move that 26 up to 6th place. Remember, he restarted in about 15th or so. So this is about 10 spots gained since this restart at minimum. 26 showing some excellent speed right now.
And while that was going on, Brody Hannon went ahead and moved into the 2nd spot. Jeremy got around Chuck Sweeting there. Chuck kind of lifted as they were heading into 1. Let Brody clear him. He saw Brody was the faster car right now. Brody has said many a times that he is not a fan of this next-gen car, but we don't see him outside the top 5 with it. So as much as he hates it, it loves him. So maybe we'll have another podium finish with him and a conversation about how much he hates it, but how much it pays off for him. But that's going to put him in the 2nd spot there, right behind Nicholas Moreau. Let's see if he has anything for him.
I really wish I could be really good at something and say I hate it, and I could be so much better at it, but I just don't like the car. But yeah, he finds himself in the top 3 quite frequently. At one point, I think he's found the top 3 in every single race this season. Clearly, he's either calling a huge bluff here, saying I do not like this car, or he just truly doesn't like it and has some great luck behind that wheel, because he does really well in this next gen car. No matter where you throw it, he's always there in contention, and he's got a half a second left before he might find P1.
Yeah, he's gonna have a challenge ahead of him to get up to Nicholas and make a pass on him. But kind of looking back through the field, Jeremy, other than battling for about 12th spot here, everyone else is single file. We got Gil Gawk, he's kind of losing some spots. Jonathan's going to ahead and make that pass around him, and woo, little sideways there as they're coming off of 4. I believe that's the 50 of Martin Guerrero there. He almost lost as they're coming off of 4. He's going to lose a couple spots. The 57 of Josh Johnson. Josh May is looking also to make that pass.
Yeah, the 57 ran really high. It looked like the 50 of Martin Guerrero wanted to give more than enough space, and it caused that car to get a little loose, giving it a little extra wheel input off of turn number 4, and he was able to save it, no problem there. And he's going to make another pass attempt on Joshua Johnson here into turn 3, making it 3 wide. Mr. Mayu sees an opportunity and takes it 2 spots in 1 corner. That 0-2 now up to 15th.
That was nice. He just drove it down in there deep, let it come up right in front of those guys as they're battling side by side, and he didn't even bother that whole basically battle there. He just went right by those 2 and let them keep battling it out, and he says, thank you, I'll take 2 spots, moving the 15th. So great move there by Josh, as these 2 are still battling out right behind him as we see the 50 slide up almost into the 57. He's going to have to get out of it, and they're still side by side coming off of 2.
Yeah, and see a solid replay there. The 0-2 make that excellent pass there for sure. Just doing some awesome work there in his machine there, but he's got some work to do. He's sitting there so far back, currently in 15th scored right now, and you see the 57 and the 50 still running side by side here as they're trying to see who's going to get 16th place. So they're still just racing all over, Ken, which is kind of surprising me. I expected it to be a lot of single file, but even back here in the pack, they're still trying to make some moves here.
Yeah, we've got pretty much all the way to your top 10 spread out. We have a couple passes here. Looks like you're going to have the 26. Matthews looking on the inside of Sherwood. Looks like he's going to try and clear that pass as they're hitting in 3 and 4. I believe he is going to, he's going to go ahead and pull that. No, he's not. Sherwood's going to have the run coming off of 4. That's going to put him right back by the 26th and keep him in that 5th spot. But Matthews not giving up yet, and Richie's enjoying what he's seeing because that's going to bring him closer to these guys as well.
And I saw the 75 there. You see Chuck Sweeting is back in the paint here with the 33 and the 26. So 75 has really fallen off this run a little more so than before. It gets a little loose there in turn number 2. So the 33 is going to look to make the pass here, try to get into P3 podium position. Makes the pass to the inside, clears him, no problem. Chuck with a really slow turn 3 entrance. It allows the 26 to go around as well. Here's Richie Coy with the 75. You knew they're going to come nose to tail here sooner or later.
Yeah, that was just an odd amount of speed lost there by Chuck Sweeting. I'm not sure if he just let those guys go or just battling a ill-handling car right now, but I think he might have just been letting them go, that the way that he's kind of closing back up on them and how smooth they were able to go by him right there. But still, either way, he's back now into your fifth spot there and trying to hold off the 19, his friend there, Richie Coy. So not really like what we see normal out of Chuck here, but still in the top 5. Battling Richie out, no surprise. But Matthew, that's going to put him in the 4th spot now.
Yeah, we're just coming up to halfway here, and Chuck Sweeting is your points leader by 5 points over that guy directly behind him in the 19. So I don't know if I'd be a little more aggressive as far as trying to stay in front of that 19. But again, if he lets the tires cool off, we'll have to see here and see how that works on the long run. But since we are at halfway point this time, we're going to take our halfway break here. So we're going to go picture-in-picture mode to give out all of our visual sponsors a chance to say what they got to say about the product. So give us a few minutes and we'll be right back.
Drivers, start your engines! 4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. No rear grip whatsoever, up sideways everywhere. Come on, man, do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Welcome back to full screen mode for the Nerd TV broadcast of the Michigan International Speedway race here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. And we had some position changes while we were in picture here. Looks like Richie Coy has found himself now all the way up to third place. That 19 is making some heavy moves, able to get around Chuck Sweeting and Sherwood and everybody else to find third place. And now it's up to, two people left, Mr. Brody Hanna and Nicholas Moreau. But we're starting to see that 75 kind of reel back in the 19 just a little bit. So it looks like that 75 is going to play that patient game to see if that 19 makes any mistakes to get back inside the podium position.
Yeah, surprise to see Richie up there, and that's been, that's Chuck's driving style, as we mentioned quite a few times, is being patient and kind of letting these guys burn up their stuff, and then he'll let them go early, then he'll come by, get them back a little bit later. The 26 we saw, he was making Richie getting a little sideways there as he's coming off a 2. That's going to give the 75 a great run here as they're heading down the backstretch and then turn 3. But kind of going back to the 26 here, he was having a great run, but all that spots that he's gained there on that restart, gained 13 positions since the last restart, has took a toll on his tires as he's not able to kind of move forward and lost a spot as well, and kind of battling out with the 33 right now, trying to stay ahead of him.
That is so classic for the 75. You know it's coming, and it happens every single time where he just waits and waits behind someone, and then the 19 just slips up one time off of turn number 2, and all of a sudden he tries to make a stab at it, but this time the 19 was able to hold him off on that third groove. 75 had a little check up there off the exit of 4, had a lift a little bit more than normal, and all that straightaway momentum was just taken away from him, and now he's sitting behind the 19 once more. And we've seen that 26 as well behind him even stall out a little bit, trying to cool off some tires, because he's passed a lot of cars to get back up here inside the top 5.
Yeah, 13 cars to be exact to get back up there, and that will put some wear on those tires, but he's still holding pretty good there. He's got 33 looking them, on the inside there, but not gonna be able to make it. And Wayne Allen as well, he started third on that restart. He's only lost a couple. He's sitting back in 7th. So he's still running a pretty good spot here inside the top 10 with the 11 of Tony Solari. He's gained a whole 11 spots this race, Jeremy. That's going to put him in that 8th spot. And then James Wallace, we mentioned him earlier, 14 spots gained. He's up into 9th, 1 spot further than he was last time.
And you see the 19 and the 75, they swap spots as far as, one's low, one's high. But the end result's still the same. The 19, Richie Coy, temporarily holding on to third place, but that 75 is all of it a back bump for that 19 is a complete lap number 61 right there of scheduled 100. So definitely well within the halfway range, and I think there's going to be at least one more green flag pit stop, which should be coming up close of the halfway point from the last pit stop to the end of the race. So we've got to keep an eye out on that and see where these pit stops might be taking place.
And, some of these guys are kind of, we see the 67, actually, he's coming on the radio. He's coming down pit road right now. So as soon as you mentioned it, we're going to have one coming down, and that's inside your top 10, Jeremy. That's 9th place. So they are starting, but some of these guys are kind of hoping the same as last time with the caution. They can kind of bunch this field back up. We're going to have 2 coming down pit road because you got the top 3. They're 6 seconds behind, Jeremy. Other than Brody Hanna being 2.5, everyone else is pretty far back from Nicholas right now.
It's James Wallace in the 67, and then Jonathan Varanonskis in the 27. 2 guys making their way down pit road, trying to take advantage of the early green flag pit stop. The last one you'll see on the green flag side this evening, which is going to give them about 38 laps to complete this race with that last set of tires. So let's see how this works out. I know tire wear is pretty rough here. Temp road, it's going to be a huge success, but we'll have to see how the long run pays out.
Yeah, we see, looks like we got one more that's coming down pit road, Jeremy. So we're definitely are having the pit cycles coming through. That's going to be Gil Gok there. He's coming down pit road right now. I think he's the only one that decided to take it this time by. But they are coming. So we'll see what happens. And this could be a good amount. I mean, you're probably going to be running the same amount of laps that we have on this run, but we'll see how much it pays off for these guys coming down early.
85 Gil Gok, I think he's going to have a slow stop here overall. It looked like he thought the first yellow line was your pit speed line, so he was down to 55 at the first line, but he had a whole lot more space in front of him to woe it down, which the first 2 guys that pitted took advantage of that. You see the 50 on pit road right now as well, coming to the service of his virtual crew. So it's about 4 cars now have made their green flag pit stops. We're just waiting on everybody else to see when they do come down themselves.
And it's a good little battle here for this, just outside the top 5, Jeremy. They're still mixing it up back there with Wayne Allen, Tony Solari, Sherwood Orford, Brian Dublé sitting right behind these guys, watching all this unfold. Quite a little battle here, and I believe we're going to have another one coming down pit road. Yeah, the 26 is coming down pit road, so he's going to come down and get some fresh tires. We know that he definitely has the speed with those fresh tires. He's going to have a partner, Sherwood, right behind him as well.
Yeah, this is your 5th and 6th cars to pit down pit road for their final green flag stop this evening. The 26 and 33 making their way downtown to their virtual crew. So that's about a third of the field so far that's still running. And we're hearing the 75 called. I think he's coming down pit road with 19 as well this time by.
And we got to finish it. They're making their way downtown, driving fast, trying to come home with that trophy now. So we'll see what they can do. They hit their pit stops pretty perfect there. No mistakes so far on pit road. Have we seen with all these drivers? The 26, we know he had a bad pit stop last time. Was able to nail it this time. So that's exactly what he needed. Doesn't need to lose any more time on pit road.
6 cars coming down this time. Looks like Chuck, Richie, Tony, Lane Allen, Brian Dublé, Josh Mayu all coming down in one little pack here, which could play in their favor. It is technically drafting here. There is a little bit of that to increase your lap times, and you got 6 cars in a group. Let's see how this plays out versus the cars that pitted all by themselves.
Yeah, this is a big group of drivers coming down right now, and this could play, like you said, in favor with everyone coming out together. We got the Jacks drop on Richie Coy and Tony Sawyer at the same time, so they're going to be coming off pretty good with his teammates, and that's what they love to see. You got Lane Allen right behind him as well, so that's going to get a good little bunch here, and as you mentioned, that could play favor in every one of these single file cars coming down.
Looks like everyone gets through nice and cleanly, a little more spaced out than what they were coming down pit road, so let's see if they can kind of maintain that draft pack. Looks like the 19 and 75 are going to be able to find each other, but Tony Solari in that 11 looks like he's a little bit further back than what he wanted from his teammate, the 19. We heard the call out. Brody Hanna coming down pit road this time. He did lead 1 lap, stayed out 1 lap later. Then the 15, you see him coming down pit road right now. A little bit early exit there below the white line. We don't see that too often, and he barely gets down to speed there. Looks like a clean overall. You're seeing the 47 on pit road as well, so this is almost going to cycle through everybody else.
And while the 23 Brody Hanna was coming on the pit road, the 15 of Nicholas Moreau was getting off a pit road there. So little switch up of action that we have going on. So we'll see where these pit stops kind of play in everyone's favor. We saw Brody go 1 lap further. He was sitting about 2.5 seconds behind Nicholas Moreau when Nicholas came in. So once these things cycle through, we'll see where everyone's at. And it looks like we lost Chad Lane, Jeremy. He's going to have a packet loss, so he's actually going to be disconnected on this race as well, which, hate to see it. We know he's running in the back, had a little trouble there early in the race, but yeah, that's going to put him out of this race as well.
Yeah, I hate to see that, especially when it's out of your control 100%. It's just the internet says boop, and that's it. That's all you wrote. We got the camera on the number 7, Mr. Wayne Grassi. He is the last car to make a pit stop. We got to see whenever he comes down, but right now, his last time by the line was a 41.9 second lap, but that perspectives are going to go to James Wallace, who pitted first about 6 or 7 laps ago. Currently ran a 39.6, so it's a 1.5 second difference between the two. We're going to call it on the radio. Number 7 is going to be coming down pit road this time, and you see him pull down pit road right now, Ken.
Yeah, and as you said, the 67 ran a 39.6, Nicholas Moreau ran a 39.1, so he's right on the back of the 67 here, trying to make that pass as they're side by side heading into turn 3 and 4. Nicholas Moreau is going to be able to make that pass with no problem. That car is just on a rail. It's on another level, and he's going to be able to go ahead and take this lead back over once he gets around Wayne, who's on pit road right now.
Yep, as long as there's no more cautions, I think this 15 has it all but sealed up here. As long as he can consistently make it around the track for 30 more laps at Michigan, and he should have this in the bag. But these guys are racing pretty heavy here for 4th on back. 75, Chuck Sweeting. 19, Richie Coy. 27 of Arnauskas, as well as that 26 of Vachon. They're kind of trying to figure out who's going to get inside the top 5 here before you see the next group of 4 cars, which almost looks like a little bit of a pack racing here, Ken.
Yeah, it definitely does with those the way they are. There's 4 in a pack in one and 4 in a pack in another there. But kind of jumping back over to Nicholas Moreau, pretty much having it all but wrapped up here. If it comes out of caution, that might not be the bad thing for him. It's if they come down pit road, as long as he hits it perfect. I mean, we saw his restarts on the start of the race and the restart that we had, and he just dominated that start and just was on it and gained that lead real quick. So even with the caution, Jeremy, I think the only way that he can lose this race is if it's a mistake on himself or if he comes down pit road and does what his teammate did and puts him back. But that car's just so fast right now, and he's just on it on all parts of the aspect of the race tonight.
And I can definitely agree with that. Yeah, it's just all by himself. In the beginning, you're kind of question things, but after about 10 laps or so, or 15, just on a whole different level. Do you see the number 4 come off pit road with the 17 this time? So Chad Lang has returned, but that's going to put him 6 or 7 laps down here. So he's going to need a caution and someone to kind of take themselves out if we have another internet issue, for him to gain any spots at this point, with just under 30 laps to go. So right now, Moreau, 1.7 second advantage over James Wallace, who has that first pit stop in the books. And the 75 and the 19 are coming on the quick here, probably the next lap or 2. They'll be taking that spot over.
And even, Chad's missed 2 races this season and 7 laps down, sitting in 20 spot, but he's trying to gain as much ground as he can because he came into the points tied for 13th with Stephen Lown, who couldn't make it tonight, just a couple off of Tony Sawari, and then Stephen Loomis right in front of him. So with all that, and Steve Allen, he's trying to get into that top 10 in points. So every spot matters, especially over at Full Throttle Sim Racing, because we know how these guys are over here. Very tight, very competitive, great drivers here. So to even get top 10 in the points is a good accomplishment in itself.
Absolutely. I would have to agree 100%. Even racing in their fixed series on Thursday with the ARC is absolutely 100% can side with you on that. And looks like this pack here for just outside podium is still running pretty tight. We see that pass happen. 2nd place, Chuck Sweeting. 3rd place now, Richie Coy. And we see the 26 who is lurking. We know he's really fast on these shorter runs. He's going to make that pass for 4th in this corner on the 67, but he has some space between him and the 18 for the top 3.
Yeah, I think if we're going to see a battle for the lead, Jeremy, it's going to have to be with the caution coming out right now. They got the speed. We know Matthew has the speed. We've even seen it out of Chuck and Richie, but they got to gain 3.5 seconds here with 25 laps to go, so it's going to be hard to do. But the battle to watch is probably going to be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and then in that 5th place right there. That's where everything's going to come in line. We see Brody Hanna, who we know he's got fresher tires in the 67, so he's making his move on James Wallace and just gained so much ground right there, heading in the 1 and 2. And James saw him coming. He got up off the groove a little bit and let Brody go by, but just that, yeah, I think even Brody came on saying that I think he might have startled James there because I don't think James saw him coming with the speed that he had.
Yeah, just a short amount of time. I think it was like 5 lap difference between the tires, and it's a huge chunk of time here. Oh, and the 67's right in front of the 11, checks him up in the 33, right in the middle of 3 and 4, and that's going to really slow up that momentum. He's going to bring this 14, though, laying out, and he's got a head of steam here. It's going to bring a nice little tight 3-car pack here entering turn number 1.
Yeah, Lane Allen, he was loving seeing that because they did have a great run coming, and then just with that little checkup, I thought Sawari was about to get into the back of the 67, but he slowed up just enough, but it definitely killed the momentum. As you see Tony actually getting the wall there as it coming off a 2, just a light little touch, but that's going to slow him down even more, and that's going to get a 33 here. Sherwood will look on the inside. He's going to see if he can make a pass here as they're heading in the 3. See if Tony can kind of get that momentum built back up on the high side and get back around him. I believe he is going to get that going, so as long as he can keep off the wall. He did lift a little bit, though, Jeremy, so he is battling a little tightness there as they're coming off the corner.
Yeah, a little double whammy there. 2 laps in a row where he has an issue with the 67 and then slaps off on turn number 2. And on a high-speed track with these next gens, that right side panel is pretty vital to your aerodynamics. So you really don't want to smash that right side in. You'll lose all that turn in, all that downforce that you need to make the corner happen at a good speed. So let's see if that scrubs them up right now. 2 positions lost there in the past lap, making that wall contact. But overall, I think that car looks like it's still pretty good. Maybe just a little tighter, but other than that, looks like he's holding up just fine right now in 7th.
And Brody Hanna's going around his teammate there. It's going to put him in that top 3 position. So The new tires are definitely coming in for Brody here as he's making an advantage on these guys. He went ahead and got around Richie Coy, no problem, as they were heading in the turn 3 and 4 as well. He's able to slide up in there, move right off. So he's got his sights up here on Chuck Sweeting, Jeremy, and with these tire difference, I think he's going to catch him pretty quick. So the only one that he's got an advantage on is Nicholas, but he's got 5 seconds to gain on him. So it's going to be a challenge in itself with 21 laps to go. But if he's the one with tires and the speed to do it.
Yeah, this 23 right now is putting on some great speed, showing off some awesomeness here as he gets around the 75 here. No problem, really, as he dips it down to the white line there in the front straightaway. It looks like he is going to clear the 75 nose entering turn number 1. So second place now belongs to that 23 of Brody Hanna.
We'll have to see where these lap times come in now that Brody Hanna has clean air in front of him just the same way as Nicholas does. Nicholas is heading in the 3 as they're just in the middle of the backstretch. So that just shows you what this 5-second difference can make at this track here. So we'll see where these lap times are coming. Nicholas Moreau's been running about 40 flat these last couple laps, I would say. Been kind of consistently around 40.1 or so. So Brody Hanna in that first lap there in clean air is about the same, 40.2, so not gaining much ground on him with those speeds.
It looks like they've kind of staled out there, at least temporarily. Let's see how as the run builds in, how much tire wear each of these guys develop, and see how that changes the landscape right now with 75 and the 19, 1 spot difference. 75 has that 5-point advantage, and you need anything, especially when we're coming to Daytona 3 weeks from tonight, or 4 weeks rather. You're going to need any single point possible over your competitor to try to maximize your effort to get that championship.
There's not any battles going on around the track. I mean, the only one that's got some potential right now is the 11 of Tony Solari, looking on the inside of the 33 of Sherwood there and trying to get back around. And we saw he got into the wall and lost the momentum there, so he's trying to get that spot back. But other than that, I think the only other 2 on the track, Josh Johnson and Kyle Milliken, your winner last week, those 2 have been side by side for the last 4 or 5 laps. But everyone else is kind of on their own little island, running their own lane as well. So when we see the distance that Brody has moved on Chuck there, he's already gained a second since he's got around Chuck Sweeting. So he's got the speed, but he's not gaining any time there on Nicholas Moreau.
No, it's really not 5 seconds advantage under 20 laps to go. It's one of those deals to where he's just got to be consistent, and he's got this thing. And like you said, even if a caution were to come out, you know they're all going to be pitting for their second to final set of tires, which Nicholas has been ever so good on these short runs even. So don't expect any issue from that department. But the 10 finally got passed by the 57, and it takes us back to 16th and 17th. But that pass finally been completed now by those 2. And I think at this point it brings everyone really, close to being single file except for the 33 and 26. That's going to be the battle for 6th and 7th place here on the front stretch, as the 33 trying to make some moves here on the bottom.
Yeah, 26 actually, the lap before in turn 1 and 2, he rode the wall the whole way around, hit it a couple of times, lost the spot to Lane Allen and put him into that 5th position. And that's why that 33 of Sherwood's right on the back bumper of this 26. Definitely not what he wanted, as he was trying to get some of that high side momentum going, but that's the 33 is enjoying it, because as he's looking on the inside now, the 26 there, Matthew, and they kind of pulled a little distance on Tony Solari, who's all by himself there in 8th place now.
Yeah, we saw it on the Nerd TV replay there, and clearly the 26 had some wall glue. Goes back to when we talked about the 11 and flatten out that right side. You don't want any damage done to your right side fender flares, as it really just makes the car that much tighter through these corners. And that 26 running that 3rd and 4th groove up right now, almost to the 5th wall lane, so to speak. Makes a great run on the coming off the corner here, but that 33 is just so strong through the center, able to clear him no problem. So gonna drop the 26 back 1 more spot, this time in the P7.
Having some great speed out of these guys here at the top of the field. I mean, we see what Nicholas has been doing all night. Brody Hanna's been showing some great speed. It's funny though, Jeremy, you see Chuck and Richie, no matter what spot they are on the track, they seem to always find each other and seem to be racing each other. That's why this points battle is so close, being only separated by 5 points. And I know Richie would love to get around him. I mean, it's not much, but it's a point, and that's what matters. I mean, we got 4 races left with 5 points to gain, so just have to gain a couple. And you know, he mentioned last season that he didn't like winning the championship with one race to go, but it was a nice relief. They didn't have to worry about it. I bet he's wishing he was doing the same thing going into Daytona this season, but that's not going to probably be the case, and it's going to be a great battle here once we get to Daytona. But Richie's he's trying to gain as much ground as he can, no matter if it's 1 point at a time or 10 points.
Yeah, we'll have to see when it comes down to 2 races left right before Daytona to see if that mindset is definitely the same, or if it's one of those, like you said, where he's like, man, I just wish I had this secured in the bag. I don't have to worry about it. Because right now, him and Chuck are just, they are there. 5 points separated before this race. They are nose to tail right now with under 15 laps remaining. So you know this championship is literally going to come down to the final race and potentially the final lap or two. As long as they can avoid all the big ones that might occur at Daytona. But the 19th got some work to do. This past month, I think the 75s had the edge in most of the races. So if he wants to get that championship, he needs to figure what the 75's doing.
Yeah, he's got to find that spot. And we know he missed the race and he had the provisional, but you know that's not gonna make up for it now. And see Chuck there a little bit. A little bit sideways. It kind of seemed like coming off at 2. I have to go back and see, but they kind of switched lanes there. You got Chuck on the inside now, and Richie's going to be on the outside. So a little swap-a-roo there, but they're still battling it out. And side by side as they're heading in the 3 and coming off a 4 here. So Richie's trying to make that ground, Jeremy. We're coming almost to 10 laps to go. We got 11 laps here. Still left to go around this track right now. 12 laps, sorry.
Yeah, nothing really to lose here. These guys are 2 seconds away from the guy behind them and 4 seconds away from the guy in front. So it's just literally these 2 guys duking it out here for 4th and 3rd place. Who wants the podium? Who wants to talk to us here in the Nerd booth? Right now they touched exiting turn number 2. Don't get yourself involved in a wreck. But man, they kept it clean, and 75 prevails out of that too, or that contact there. So the 19's got to find some extra strategy or different strategy to kind of make this pass.
Yeah, you got to love to see it too. They tight battle in there, both getting a little squirrely as they're coming off the corner, make a little slight contact, and then they just come on the radio and laugh about it and say sorry about that, and they keep on going. So huge respect between these 2 drivers, as they should, just with all the racing they do together. They've been around each other enough, know how close to get with each other. So that's just the end of it. That's just the start of it, Jeremy. We still got 11 more laps around here, and I think that might not be the last time we see these 2 side by side, but they don't want Lane Allen to sneak in up on them. I think he's probably far enough back. As you mentioned, they're all by themselves, but this isn't over yet between these 2.
This is exactly why we call it the Chuck and Richie show, and they're proving it right here. Doesn't matter, like you said, where they're out on the track. They seem to find each other, and they're still putting on an awesome show, even if it's not for the lead. This time it's for 3rd and 4th. It is for podium, so it's a little bit of a prize out of that per se, but outside of that, it's just 1 point. So you see the 19 actually make a great run off of turn number 4, gets the side draft advantage, and he does pass the 75 this time to put Richie Coy down P3.
Yeah, great move by Richie Coy there. Now he's just got his teammate in front of him, Brody Hanna, but that's not the worry. The worry is behind him still. Chuck Sweeting to get back around him. We know Chuck doesn't want to give that up, because as we mentioned, that's valuable points. Even though it's just 1, that's points that Chuck wants to secure over him. So I imagine we'll see Chuck come back around him. And kind of looking back behind these guys, Jeremy, you got Lane Allen back there by himself, and then the 2 that's battling it out right now, still the 26 of Matthew and the 33 of Sherwood Wolford. So between Sherwood and Matthew, they're battling out for that 6th spot.
Yeah, the 14 Lane Allen still hanging 1.3 back over now 4th place Chuck Sweeting, which he's been there for the past 5 laps or so since that contact was made by the 15 and 75. So it's the draft is definitely helping these guys, and if you know Chuck Sweeting at this point, we saw him happen once earlier where the 19 had to make a mistake and the 75 makes the pass effort afterwards. It's exactly what we're setting up for. The 75 is there. He's got the draft assistance. He's just saying, hey, you make that bobble once more, and I'm going to take that spot right back from you.
Yeah, and that's just what he's, his mentality is this whole time, is just sit back and wait for you to make a mistake, and he's going to be there to pounce on you and just put that pressure on him. But he's all over the back bumper here, Richie Coy, and he's not going to, as you see, some of these other guys, they'd be looking to make a pass on the inside and everything like that, but Chuck knows what he's doing been in this position plenty of times. He's saving those tires. You know, we'll see probably one last little run shot at it here once we come inside the top 5 laps to go, unless we see a slip up by Richie Coy, as he does right there. Kind of gets a little loose as they're coming off of 4, and that's going to put the 75 here on the inside making a run as they're heading down into turn 1, Jeremy.
Once again, the 75 is going to feed off of a mistake here and try to do it with the 19 with the preferred lane in groove number 3. Gets a great center through the corner as long as he can hold it. He gets a little loose, putting a little extra wheel, but then make contact into the wall. They're still going straight. Damage to the 19 on his right rear side there. I think the 75 is going to be just fine. 75 clears the 19 again. But right now, it looks like the 19 is able to keep up momentarily, but this is going to give 75 back to P3.
Yeah, and Richie came on, so that's his fault again on that one twice. And, you know, mentioned how these things are a handful, and we can see it tonight, but it's still great battling. And you know, we were just mentioning that. He's just waiting for something to happen, and there it is. But Richie, again, not giving up on this one. We still got 6 laps to go. There's still time to make up and get that spot back and get back into the top 3 here and get into that podium spot. But it's not over yet, Jeremy. This is going to be the battle to watch till this thing ends.
And that 14 is sitting there with his mouth watering a little bit. He's saying, hey, you guys want to do that one more time? And I'm going to be right there making this a 3-car race, as he's sitting there right inside the top 5. But yeah, now the 75's got the advantage, and the 19's got the slight damage to that right side of his car. Definitely the favor at the moment is playing toward the 75, knowing that his car was a little bit faster this past 5 or 6 laps or so. But that 19 with that draft is still holding up to that 75 just fine.
Yeah, he's holding them off pretty good so far. So we see a good run here by the 19, though, as they're coming down the backstretch, heading into turn 3. I don't think he's going to take any looks on the inside at all on this one. But the 14, Jeremy, Lane Allen, he's closing the gap on these guys. You know, we were saying he's sitting in a good spot here watching these guys battle it out, and he might move his way up in here. And that was a great corner there by the 75 and the 19, as both of those were just nose to tail through that whole entire corner. No one gained or lost anything on that corner there, so unfortunate for Richie Coy, but he's still not giving up. He's digging right back in, right on the rear bumper. But that 14, Jeremy, Lane Allen, he's one to watch. If he can hold on to these guys, he might be able to make a twofer.
4 laps to go here at Michigan, and yeah, that 14 made an excellent turn 1 and through the middle of the corner and was able to hold that momentum to the backstretch. And he is in the same window now as these guys here battling for 3rd and 4th place. Quite intense. The 19 is not going to let go. The 75 has to check up slightly on exit. The 19 is going to dip down low to try to make a pass happen as they are now side by side here as they try to get to the turn number 1, but the 19 backs off, knowing that this is not the right lane here, not feeling comfortable with that. But once again, that allows that 14, who makes an awesome run once again to turn number 1. Now it's a 3-car race.
Yeah, that's this is the battle right here. I mean, we're going for the podium, going for the top 3. Points on the line between these two, and Lane Allen's trying to interrupt both of them and take away 2 points from them. So Richie's gonna, I would imagine Richie's probably gonna sit back and let his tires cool now this time and see if he can make one last run and effort towards it, because he's gonna have only one more shot, I believe, Jeremy. He's gonna have to make a decision on when he's gonna make the pass, and we're coming here to 2 laps to go. So he's gonna have to make it soon if he is.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. He's got 1 lap here to kind of set some things up, and then 1 lap to execute. That's all the time is left. But you can't help to not look in that mirror and see that black and green Mountain Dew Chevrolet sitting there 2 or 3 car lengths back of that 19, as the 19 starting to lose a little ground to that 75. Let's see what happens here in 3 and 4. Looks like Chuck's just a little tighter in this corner. It allows us, or 19 to catch up just a little bit as they come off to the stretch for 1 to go here, presented by Mach1 Performance. As they make off their way into turn number 1, clearly Nicholas Moreau, we're going to turn our attentions to him as he is on the backstretch here. We can't forget about this guy who's 13 seconds over that competition we are watching for the last 10 or 15 laps, as the number 15 set sail on to turn 3 and 4 for the final time this evening. Only did not lead 1 lap, I believe, so 99 of 100 laps belongs to Nicholas Moreau. Welcome back, taking the pole and the checker flag here at Michigan.
What a run. I mean, that car was just on a rail tonight, so Quite a race by him, and Brody Hannah's going to come home and secure that second spot. And looks like Chuck Sweeting, Jeremy, going to bring home third place as well. So great run with those guys from the back there battling for that third spot.
Lane Allen was hoping for 5 more laps, and maybe he would be up there in third place. He was coming on strong as well. It's a great finish there to round out the top 5, and then everybody else on back. And there was a couple battles going on, Kenny, but for the most part, it was spaced out between the little packs here. I was waiting for everyone to cross the line. Looks like the last of them right now, Joshua Johnson, crosses the line for the final time, which is going to make everything official until the points are divvied out. But yeah, great race overall. 15 awesome performance. Brody Hannah. I don't think we expected Brody to hold that much speed into the long run there.
No, and I'm going back too, Jeremy. I saw as we were clicking over to Nicholas there, it looked like the 47 was on the backstretch damaged. Yeah, him and the 10 there got into each other and hit the wall in the backstretch on the last lap and put him to the inside. So that is a disappointing finish there for the 47 of Ryan Hedrick.
Yeah, and I was, I just kicked over and watched it, and I don't want to speculate, but it looks like there was a little bit of tempers there between those two guys. You see it happen on your replay already, by Nerd TV there, and the 10 was clearly straight. That wheel was dead straight, and then all of a sudden it was 90 degrees to the left. So I'm not sure what was going on there. We didn't catch anything prior, but that costed the 47 a couple spots. Not going to be happy with that one post-race.
Yeah, no, that was, I noticed that too. I'm not sure what happened with that one, but yeah, we'll have to look and see what happened. And it sounded like Kyle came on the radio and said he thought that the race was over, and that might have been what the contact was with the 47 there. And so I think he checked up coming down the backstretch, and that's what put Nicholas right there behind him. So unfortunate.
So that's like a Mark Martin-esque where you think the race is over and you pull down pit road, right? But it's really one more lap left. Is that basically what I just heard?
All but the winning there. He just didn't have the win in the bag. He, just lifted though coming off of 2, and the 47 had nowhere to go hit him. And I'm not sure if Kyle was just having some fun with him or trying to save his car. But yeah, that is unfortunate for those two with that little incident there on the end.
Yeah, that's going to be the chat of the week here, at least on their Discord. But outside of that, here's your unofficial results tonight here. Nicholas Moreau, dominating fashion, going to take home first place. Brody Hannah second. Chuck Sweeting in third. Richie Coy finishes in fourth. Lane Allen fifth. Sherwood Williford sixth. Matthew Vachon in seventh. Eighth place, you're going to find Tony Solari. Ninth, Josh Mayu in tonight's top 10 finisher, Brian Dublé.
Going home in 11th is going to be James Wallace. 12th is Jonathan Varanakis. 13th, Gil Gok. 14th is going to be Wayne Grossi. 15th, Justin Diltz. 16th, Joshua Johnson. 17th is going to be Kyle Milliken. 18th, Ryan Hedrick. 19th is going to be Martin Guerrero. 20th, Chad Lane. 21st, Steve Loomis. 22nd, Alex Murphy. And 23rd is going to be Brian Bliss.
Does run out the field. Now this is going to be the start of the Martin Sports post-race show, where we get to interview the drivers to see what they thought, at least from the top three's perspective, how tonight's race went. It looks like third place Chuck Sweeting is ready for us. We're going to see if we can pull him in here and get a quick chat with third place finisher Chuck Sweeting. You got a copy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going pretty good up here, man. Great race overall. Pretty dominant car. Just, minus the 15 being on the track. You guys had a pretty solid car, I would say. Walk us through that fun last little 10 or 15 laps with the 19. That got pretty sketchy.
Yeah, we both had our hands full. Cars were really sketchy and loose off the corner, and it was worse when you're side by side. But I know Richie races with respect, and I hope he knows I do too. So it was all good. Just a little, Rubbins racing, as they say. But yeah, nobody had anything for Nick. I told the guys on the radio on the pace lap that we were all going to be fighting for second, and shoot, I couldn't even fight for second. Brody get that. So, but overall, good race. Decent. I should have put a little bit more practice in this week. I think I didn't know the car was going to be that tough to handle.
Yeah, we were discussing that before the race started. Is it was going to be a handful with these open setups as much as with the fixed setups, and I think this race kind of answered that. That yeah, it's still going to be a handful, but but the good thing is you still finished one spot ahead of Richie. I mean, it's not much, but hey, 1 point is 1 point, so that's still going to bump you up in that points lead and keep that thing rolling into next week at Richmond. How do you like your looks at Richmond next week?
Richmond's probably my best track, so I'm hoping to do really well there. I'm definitely going to run some races this week and get ready for it and get the car tuned in really good. But I love that place. It's really my favorite track because it's sort of short track and sort of intermediate. So it's a lot of fun. It requires a lot of driver input there. So of course, so did tonight, and I didn't fare too well tonight, but we did okay. But I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, good luck next week at your favorite track there, Richmond. But before we let you go, floor is yours to thank anyone who's watching tonight.
Just thanks as always to Gil. Good to see him finish another race tonight after his knee surgery. So thanks to him for all the support, and thanks to Brody in the league, everybody that supports the league, and Mach1 Performance, and we'll go get him next week. See if we can stretch that lead a little bit.
Yep, it looks like it's going to be a 6-point spread between you guys for the final 3 races. So once again, good luck, and let's see if we can get the job done.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, sir. That was your third place finisher this evening, Mr. Chuck Sweeting in that 75 Gator Racing Chevrolet Camaro. Now it's time to talk to second place, Brody Hanna, who put on a pretty strong back half there of the race and able to come home second. Mr. Brody Hanna, who doesn't like these cars. How's it going?
Not bad for an experimental setup, huh?
Oh, experimental too. So we got the guy in here that doesn't like these cars on an setup. We have no idea how it's going to handle, and he clearly dominates in second place. Great job overall on that notion alone. But so since the setup was all experimental, how was it out there?
It was a little bit of a handful. I heard Chuck talking about about it being a handful. It sure was. I mean, we were both sliding around there early on. I made a little bit of a change in the pits, kind of helped it, but it was still you're on that ragged edge. You're loose. You're kind of manhandling it, and you either burn the right rear or the right front off here, and you just yeah. I mean, it's fun. I mean, I hate to use the word fun because it's still the car is not my preferred car, but it was kind of fun to be able to kind of hang it out there, and you're right on that edge of being too loose or too tight. And I heard Richie and Chuck and those guys had a great battle back there, so I'll go back and watch that for sure. But yeah, I think we kind of hit on something, so I'm looking forward to getting back to the team and kind of discussing that.
You could definitely see that you had the speed tonight, and there was a couple times I was watching you come back through the field after the green flag pit stops there. I think it was you were going around the 67 there and got right up on him, and I think you scared him just as much as I was scared for him because you came up with a head full of speed there, and I don't think he was expecting you to have that grip there because that car was just bad fast after the pit stops there you had. So it was fun to watch you come back through there after that green flag run.
Yeah, I kind of snuck up on him there. I thought he was giving me the bottom, but he was arcing the corner, so we started meeting in the middle. I had to do that to James there, but hopefully things are fine. But yeah, I don't think he expected me to be there, but again tonight we had the second best car I think out there. I didn't have anything for Nick. He was in his own zip code, so to finish best of the rest, I guess that's a good step forward. And like I said, I think we've found a little something we can use maybe going forward that'll kind of help us maybe be able to catch Nick and those guys.
Especially the guy sitting in P1 in the points, Mr. Chuck Sweeting, 6 points out of your teammate, Richie Coy. So maybe you'll find that edge there to make Daytona even more exciting than what it already will be. But once again, congrats on second place. And the floor is yours, man. Who you like to thank?
Yeah, first off, I want to thank Chuck, and me and Chuck, we've had, well, it's been on my end. We've had a couple run-ins recently, and I reached out to him and told him, I said, I remember back to IRP, and I just appreciate him, running as clean as he does, and we raced each other clean, and we had a few run-ins, so I wanted to clean that up. I got to thank the guys on the team. We've been working really hard trying to get our feet wet with this car. and I think we're getting closer. That's a good thing. I got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Got to thank everybody in the league, especially tonight. We had a good, clean race. Had one caution, and to have these guys hang on to the cars like they do and keep the race clean, big hats off to them. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what we got. We're digging in on this car, and we're gonna figure it out.
That's a good spirit to have, man. This should really be about 20 points out with 3 races left. So you got a little bit of a chance as well to make a shot at that championship if anything does go south for the guys in front of you. But congratulations once again, and have a good rest of your evening, man.
All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks.
And that's your second place finisher this evening, Mr. Brody Hand, the 23 Fury Motorsports car. Now we got one driver left to interview, and of course, that's going to be none other than race winner, Mr. Nicholas Moreau. Mr. Nick, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Just congratulations on just obliterating the field. Just the class car out there, man. There's nobody that could even touch it, even from the restarts all the way through the long run. You just had the car to beat overall. So just kind of walk us through the preparations you had tonight, and how'd you get that car so fast here?
Well, yeah, I'm just back home from vacation, so I had more time to spend on that setup. So yeah, we just find out more speed only 2 days ago, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty confident about the speed. Let's see what it does with the rest of the field. But yeah, the car was very fast, obviously. At the first stint, I was a bit too free off, and I did a quick fix in the first pit, and then from there I was just perfect. So yeah, I'm very happy with that car tonight. And you know, guys, it can be, that track seems to be easy, but it's not, in fact, because it's very easy to be too tight or too loose, especially in turn 2. But yeah, very happy for that car tonight.
Yeah, the track's been a handful all weekend, but I mean, you made it look easy out there with the performance you had. And I was watching through practice, and I saw your practice lap, and I was like, I wonder if that was in the draft or not. And then you roll off the qualifying lap and kind of answer that question for us. And we knew that your car was going to be on a rail tonight, and it was just a dominating performance. How do you like your look for next weekend there at Richmond? How's that car feel?
I never raced at Richmond with that car yet, so I will practice. Maybe I should be there, by the way. I was not sure, but I would do that race next week. But Richmond is a very, very nice place to race, so I expect to practice right after this interview, by the way. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun place, but completely different, because I didn't expect to dominate for Richmond. I know that many guys will be faster at that place.
Well, you seem to be really fast no matter where you go. But you know, Richmond, I expect you to find something out there and give these guys a run for their money for another pole, because you still have 3 more poles to collect out of your 8 that you already own. So congratulations once again on the victory. You led 99 of 100 laps, almost swept the entire race. But the floor is yours, man. Who do you have out there to thank tonight?
Yeah, we'll say thanks to Transit, Web Pro, Lassie Sport, and La Voix Agricole. Thank you, guys, and congrats everyone on only 1 yellow on that track. It's not easy sometimes. So thank you, guys, and thanks, Brady, for that league. It's very fun to race with.
Appreciate all the kind words, man. Go and celebrate with the team, and we will catch you next Monday at Richmond.
Thank you, guys. See you.
That was your race winner, the guy who led almost every single lap here tonight at Michigan, Mr. Nicholas Moreau. Kenny, overall thoughts on Michigan?
Great performance there by Nicholas. I mean, dominating. Good battles all around. We saw him yesterday in real life, and I was expecting kind of the same here. And Brody Han, I'm excited to see what he's got in store for us with that test setup that he had that was so dominant on this car that he hates so much. But that's not what these other drivers want to see, is Brody finding something that's clicking a little bit more with this car. So
yeah, and that's We'll have to see. It's even though Brody finished second, he was 22 points out. I think he's going to be in 21 or 20 with 3 races left. And when you include Daytona, you never know. We could see a huge change up in the points here for the season finale. But those 3 scheduled races left over: Richmond, as we talked about, Watkins Glen, which is a road course, and then the Daytona. So if you have not tuned in at this point and just catching this race for the first time, you really need to watch these next 3 races. It's going to be each race is going to be huge for the points. It's going to be exciting. Each one has their own challenges, and it's for a points battle that's only 4 to 5 points separated. So there's really not much to, there's no reason to not watch these things. So make sure to tune in next week for that. But we're going to close this broadcast out. We're going to thank our sponsors like we do every single time. Quick shout out to FTSR.net. If you want to be a part of this racing action, join it. This series is paid, but the next, the Thursday and Saturdays, those are free to race in. So FTSR.net. Mach1 Performance Series sponsor for every Monday night's Cup Series event. If you need a car with fabrication work and they're in your area, go stop at their shop, Mach1 Performance. You can find them on Facebook and see what they're all about. Sim Racing Points, presenting sponsor every single Wednesday for the Truck Series. You're going to find them at simracingpoints.com. Get your league registered if you want to make your league look as professional as possible with all the different stats and layouts that they have to offer your league. Martin Sports, find them at martinsports906.com. They produce t-shirts, hoodies, hats, gloves, the best in the sim racing market. So if you need a pair of gloves or anything on your upper half of your body, you go to martinsports906.com. Super Nerd at checkout, 25% off. Thank you to iRacingIFlag.com, flag marshaling system by the Nerditudes or for the Nerditudes here. The sim racing little assistance. It gives you up to 30 different iRacing commands all on your desk in a little 4x6 3D printed unit. You saw the newer commercial. It kind of goes more in depth on what it looks like and what you can do to that unit. So if you didn't catch the commercial tonight, make sure to catch it next Monday. It's a pretty cool looking product and very easy to read and understand. That's iRacingIFlag.com. Super Nerd at checkout, 15% off. Shout out to the Butt Kicker for being the audio enhancement partner for the Nerditudes. If you need to pick up that game or 2 unit and to perform at your peak performance, this is your place to go. TheButtKicker.com. Nerd TV at checkout for 20% off. MoonlightSpeed.com. If you're looking for an asphalt oval setup from the Advanced Legends all the way to the next gen, make this your home to go. MoonlightSpeed.com. And then HouseOfSpeed.us. Anything on the dirt oval side, they guys are back. Professional setups are going to get you some much needed wins. HouseOfSpeed.us. And lastly, Nerd Focus at nerdfocus.com. If you need some energy without the crash for hours on end, this is the place to go. Nerdfocus.com. Super Nerd at checkout, 10% off. All right, guys, that's going to bring us to a close here. We're going to catch you next Monday at Richmond with 3 races left in the Mach1 Performance Cup Series. See what these guys can do there. But until then, as always, stay safe and get your nerd on.
Later, nerds.